think one guy left the lineup. Is that true?
Maybe
One guy left the lineup, Herb Jones. He's incredible, but that doesn't excuse our defense. Like, we got to get Herb Jones back to hold people under 130. That's not acceptable. So, yeah, it starts there. I mean, last night I can ding our offense in the second quarter. The problem was we didn't get stops and get out and run. Our best offense is when we get stops. You felt it in the first quarter. We got 3-4 stops right away. It ignited our arena, fast break. We got out and ran. Good stuff happened there. So in general, we just got to get better. Right? It's our transition defense some nights. Sometimes it's our drive defense, second chance opportunities, the board. To be a good defense, you got to have all that. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm demanding and pushing this group to do. So we got to be more consistent in those areas.
With the way Miami plays and the pace that they're playing with this year, that transition game is going to be a big component. What's the focus have to be?
Same thing. Same thing as last night, right? Get back in transition, guard your yard. It's going to be a one-on-one battle. So that's what we talked about, we worked on today. Can you guard your man one-on-one? And to be a good defense, you got to have that ability. Do you have 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the floor at a time that can guard their man one-on-one? And Miami's going to challenge us there. They're going to drive it. They're going to play in transition. They're going to play fast. They're going to attack the glass. They're going to be a very aggressive team. So, we get a chance to correct our sins from last night.
Well, Trey and Sadiq, were they able to practice today?
No Sadiq. Who was your other one?
Trey.
Trey was limited. Yeah.
Miami plays a unique style. They don't utilize on-ball screens that much. It's a change from in the past. I think ever since assistant coach Noah LaRoche has been there. Just what do you make of that style? I think Memphis incorporated a bit last year. Now Miami's leaned all the way into it.
Yeah, it's unique. So much at our level is pick and roll or some type of two-man game where they're simply opening the floor and saying, you drive the ball, create space. I think it's creative. It's innovative. It puts the onus on a one-on-one defender they put a lot of pressure on that one-on-one defender. So, yeah, it's different. It's unique. I think we're all taking pieces of it, to some degree in our offense. They're just doing it at a higher level. They're more committed to it. Less pick and roll, kind of opens up the floor a little bit more and puts more pressure in other areas. So, but it looks to me like they're playing free. They're playing aggressive off the bounce, and they're trusting each other with the pass. So it's a unique style.
You've mentioned a few times now that you want this team here to take on the identity of the city, to embrace the resiliency. Why is it important for you to have this team just embedded in the community and be a part of that and embrace the city?
I think that's what this is about. When you look at why are we all doing this? It's you really want to. Number one, you love playing the game, you love competing, but the bigger thing is I've been a part of organizations and teams that have really galvanized a community, a city. This is what we have. We are all one when we get to that arena, when we watch the Pelicans, when we root for them. And I think the one thing that unites us more than anything is when our community sees themselves in the team. They go, I want to root for that. I believe in that. There's something powerful, and I think there's a number of examples. I won't get off on too much of a tangent, but there's a number of teams or organizations in the NBA that have been galvanized by that. They reflect their city. I think the most recent one would be like a Detroit. They've taken on that identity and they've leaned into the community. I want that to be this team as well, where they reflect the resiliency, the toughness, the energy, and the fun that this city brings. There's a beautiful balance of all that in this community of toughness, resiliency, togetherness, pride, mixed with fun, creativity, culture, and that's what I want our group to reflect. And when our fans show up and they watch us on TV, they go, damn, that looks like New Orleans to me. And to me, that has real power. That has real power. It's lasting power. It's galvanizing power. It's uniting power. And when you have that, that's special to me.
In this holiday season, a number of players were out either doing toy drives or helping with meals, and I think you guys were out at the hospital with Miss Benson. Just how much of being in the community, participating, is a part of that?
It's massive. I think that's to me when you can step back outside the NBA world and go, what is this about? How can we give back to the community? How can we be part of the community? What an incredible platform we've all been given. we've earned it to some degree, but what an amazing opportunity we all have to give back to our community, to be one with the community, and really inspire others. Otherwise, what are we doing this for? You know, there's a bigger why to all this, in my opinion. And I think sometimes young guys and young coaches, we don't always understand that. But the more I'm in this, the older I get, I guess I sound like an old man right now. It's like, you know, it's really at the end of the day, how did you impact the people around you, in your organization and in your community? That's to me what I'm going to remember. When this is all said and done, what lives did I touch on the floor? What lives did I touch in our community? And did I raise the people around me? And I think that's what going out to see, you know, visit a hospital or a toy drive, and, you know, Mrs. Benson does a great job of doing this. She leads us in that. She's out there more than anybody, and, you know, we want to be reflective of that. So, you know, I'm just proud to be part of this organization.
And on a similar note, you know, you're once again in a situation where the wins haven't been there. So how are you, like, what kind of tools are you deploying to kind of keep the team focused together, just still pounding the rock, as you said?
Trying to keep it fresh. So we're not coming in here focusing on the, you know, the result necessarily every night. It's keep pounding the rock, the process, you know, what's our identity, making sure the players are talking more than I'm talking. They got to take ownership of this. That's why I know what they don't know. Like if they're speaking, I go, they're not getting it. That's on me. So getting them to speak up more, talk more, continue to pound the rock on our identity, work on that as much as we can in the practices we do have. And then maybe bringing in some outside voices too, you know, bringing in people that is a voice other than myself. You know, we've brought in a guest speaker or two, and I'll probably continue to do that. Just to give a different perspective on competing, energy, focusing, you know, in pressure situations. And I think, you know, these players are human beings. They just, you got to keep it fresh, just like anything. You know, when we all go to our job the same way, it becomes monotonous, you stop growing. And I think when you keep it fresh, you pique the interest of curiosity and growth.
And to that point about keeping it fresh, you know, this is what, your third practice in the last 15, 18 days or something. Practice becomes a precious resource. How do you optimize, like, keeping it fresh, covering new things versus, hey, we still have these things that we were trying to perfect?
It's a balance right now because we're playing so many games. At the end of the day, you need to be fresh to win games. To me, what trumps all is the body. You got to be fresh to go max out in an NBA game, especially in the way the NBA games played now. It's such a high-paced game. You got to stay fresh. So I'm very aware of the players' bodies and what they need. So I'm listening to the performance team. I'm talking to players, number one. And then all that being said, how can we still utilize and get reps for the guys that need it, you know, and then using some mental work, you know, whether it's watching film, walking through. We're doing a lot of small group work, which has been really good. The guys really enjoy. I guess when we're all in small groups, we tend to talk a little bit more. So, you know, I'm trying to get them in smaller groups where they're talking, they're communicating more. They just became teammates a couple months ago, you know. Then they get a new coach, and it's like, okay, what are we doing now? This is new for them. You know, we had lineups out there last night, probably for the first time. That was the first time they've ever been on the floor together. And we're really not practicing those lineups. Everybody thinks like you just throw them out there and they're going to play, you know, synergy basketball together. And it's just not the reality. You need time to grow. So all that being said, you know, we're we're trying to maximize our time and be efficient on the floor, utilizing our mental performance too and making sure we're growing there, and then keeping them fresh. I'm trying to walk that balance in the heat of battle.
And how's Herb progressing?
He's very well.
Okay.
We're moving. We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. I miss him, you know. He's amazing. But, you know, we missed Trey last night too, and Sadiq, and, you know, we miss all our guys when they're out. But Herb, hopefully he's back soon.